out for Houston. They got Houston.
You're on mute, Mal. Still can't hear you, kid. There you go.
This Home Run Derby edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Circa Sports. Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contests. $14 million are up for grabs. Get all the details at circasports.com. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you eventually from Newcastle upon Tyne in the northeast of England. Today is, who cares? What's the date today? Hang on, I'm going to find it. It's July the 9th, Sunday, July the 9th. And we are here to have a look at the Home Run Derby. And I am sticking with Derby, not Derby. I considered going with Derby, but I'm not bowing down to you people any longer. It's the Home Run Derby 2023. Joining me, solid opening to the show there. I think you'll agree, Dylan.
Oh, how's it going? How good to be with you. You got me sweating. I haven't laughed this hard in a while, so thank you for that. But no, good to be with you. Can't wait to talk about. It was interesting when we started talking before we went online. You were mentioning Derby, and I didn't know if that was on purpose or that's really how you say it. But yeah, over here, you know, it's Derby, but to each their own, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's definitely Derby. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't think I had myself on mute. My little wiggly microphone here. If you put it up too high, it turns itself off, which is what I'd done. But you know, we can edit that rubbish out. No one will know except King Tut, who's in the chat. He's been lip reading the show for the first 3 minutes. So sorry for making you endure that. But yeah, Home Run Derby. It's All-Star break week, obviously. So the great and good of MLB have headed off to Seattle for the All-Star game, which means a little chance to take stock here on the MLB Gambling Podcast. The rest of the week, I think we'll be doing just that. We're going to have a look at our pre-season picks, see how we fared early in the season, our player props, and our futures market picks. And then at the back end of the week, we will get back into MLB as we kick off again next weekend or thereabouts. So yeah, loads of baseball today. Sunday, we're in the middle of a load of games. We were just talking about them. It's been a bit of a funny day. It's been a bit of a funny sort of end to the week before the All-Star break. You said this kind of happens a lot. You get some teams who go in a bit of a funky mood. You get some players who go in a bit of a funky mood. But the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Braves tonight. They needed to as well, I think. They were in a right. They'd lost 7 in a row before tonight. So they'll head into the break feeling a little bit better. But the feeling I got just this week, I was saying, Dylan, was that the these surprise teams, it just sort of let the big boys back in a bit. Houston had a little bit of Texas have had a little bit of a wobble and let Houston back in. The Diamondbacks would have a little bit of a wobble and let the Dodgers back in. The Rays were wobbling, and in fact, it's been the Orioles that are chasing the Rays down. The Orioles scored another 15 runs tonight. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a funky end of the week, but I do think a lot of these sort of surprise teams that were in a really good position maybe a week or so ago have just opened the door for some of these, the regular big boys, Dylan, to get back at them.
Yeah, 100%. Like you mentioned, I think the big one is Texas, losing today to the Nationals 7-2. They're 3-7 in their last 10. And now Houston's just 2 games back. I don't know if you were on the pod a few days ago. Maybe I think it was Scott or Moonoff, but I was saying a few weeks ago, not a few weeks, maybe about a week ago, I was saying Houston's a team you got to buy on now. Like they were plus 500 at one point to win the AL. They have the experience. They're going to get Yordan Alvarez back. And they were dealing with injuries early on. You knew they were going to find it. They're going to make a move at the deadline. They're going to get another pitcher. So, yeah, I think the biggest one is Texas. They had a big league, and so is the Diamondbacks. They're tied 2-2 right now to the Pirates. But, yeah, they're just letting them in. Yeah, King Tut makes a good point. Patrick Corbin's been another guy that's been undervalued this past, I don't know, maybe month. He's been very serviceable. I think he could help a team down the stretch as well. Yeah, so Patrick Corbin's a guy where I guess the last 2 years just we're going to fade him on name alone. I don't think we could do that anymore. So, yeah, King Tut makes a good point in the chat.
Yeah, interesting to see as we approach the trade deadline who does what. The Diamondbacks, I think, need to do something just to kind of reinvigorate themselves a little bit. Texas have made their statement, and I think they're not going to go down quietly. They picked up Aroldis Chapman a long time before the deadline, so that tells you what they're going to do. But I think the D-backs need to do something. The D-backs need a closer or two. They need a premium setter man and a closer. They're still rolling Andrew Chafin out to try and wrap these games up, and that's the longer the season goes on, that's not going to get it done for them. So yeah, loads of interesting stuff still to come, and we'll discuss all of that later on in the week. Moonaf and Scott and Lontier will be kicking around. But yeah, so tomorrow, Monday, it's the home run derby. Now again, we discussed this already, and I think we've both decided that up front, we're going to say that it's complete guesswork. This is a fun event for a pizza bet or two. And I tried to do a little bit of research earlier on. So I was looking at various numbers, various articles, various websites. I caught a couple of videos on different platforms just to try and pick up as much info as I could. And what struck me was the people who were trying to put a little bit of science behind this were the people who were kind of exposing themselves, people who were relying on players' barrel percentage and hard hit rates. And I don't think that's something you can apply to this. There's a couple of markets in there where you can apply a little bit of science, or you can apply something that you like, basically like any market that you're having a bet on. Decide on something that you like and then talk yourself into it by using some numbers, some statistics, something that happened in 2019, something that Pete Alonso has done in the past, and you can talk yourself into whatever bet you make. So I think that's where the direction this show will go, is that me and Dylan will give you what we like and why we like it. There's a whole load of daft markets you can get involved in. It's not just outright. But yeah, that was my kind of reading of the situation, Dylan. You're more experienced MLB bettor, and you probably watch more home run derbies than me. So am I on the right lines here, or is there an angle in, do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think barrel rate and hard hit rate, I think they apply a little more better when it's in season and you get a lot more larger sample size. Here, it depends on the who's throwing to you, who's throwing BP to you. I think it depends on the ballpark, if it's in a dome, if it's not in a dome. So there's a lot of factors in it. But yeah, I've watched the home run derby since I was little, dating back when Chris Berman said back, 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 back. Have you never watched the home run derby?
Well, no, I've obviously watched the highlights of the last 2 years or what have you. When
I've been. Remember him saying that?
And I have no idea what you're on about. No.
Oh, Chris Berman, he's a legend. He used to work at ESPN. He's this big guy, and he's so expressive the way he talks and the way he announces home run derbies. And he had the fastest 2 minutes on ESPN for football as well. So yeah, it's great. There's a lot of good stories as well in the home run derby, like Pete Alonso going back to back Bryce Harper winning, Aaron Judge winning, Todd Frazier winning in Cincinnati where he was playing. Cespedes. Remember Yoenis Cespedes? He won back-to-back.
He did.
So,
I knew that much. Yeah, that was part of my research today. I came up with because I liked Yoenis Cespedes. He was on that Mets team when I first started watching baseball. That 2016 or whatever it was. Yeah. Cespedes was a big part of that. And then he fell down a hole chasing a pig and broke both his ankles and was never the same again, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, he has a farm in Dominican Republic or Venezuela, I think, where he's from. And yeah, he was doing something in his farm and he broke his leg or something. And then he kind of just left us and said, you know what, I'm going to go back to my country, and just left. Yeah.
Because it was only quite recently, I think, on opening day, he had a solo homer and the Mets won 1-0. I think that was 2 opening days ago. So it wasn't very long that they brought him back. And that was when, after sort of the middle of May, he actually just thought, bollocks to this, I'm going home. Yeah. But yeah, I do remember Cespedes and Yoenis Cespedes. The Cespedes family barbecue is a good follow on Twitter. If you don't follow that, that's a good thing to get involved in. Okay, so there's loads of different markets, and we'll take you through the runners and riders once we've told you about Circa Sports with the Circa Millions and the Circa Survivor, which are back for the upcoming NFL season. You've got $14 million in guaranteed prizes. The Circa Millions, you make 5 NFL picks against the spread every week. And in the Circa Survivor, you just pick a different money line winner each week. You can enter in Vegas and play from anywhere. The SGPN boys will be out there for the last weekend in August. You need to get to circasports.com for all of the details. That's circasports.com. Right. Home run derby. Let's get into it. 8 runners. They are seeded on the number of home runs they hit so far this year, or certainly when the field was announced. That's how the seedings worked, because the seedings can look a little bit random if you just come in with first time. So number 1 seed is Luis Robert of the White Sox. Number 2 is the polar bear, Pete Alonso. 3 is Mookie Betts. Number 4 is Adolis Garcia. The 5 seed is Randy Arozarena. In fact, I was going to give the odds out as I do this. So yeah, number 1, Luis Robert is a 5-1 shot. 2, Pete Alonso is a 3-1 shot. Is he the favourite? No, he's not. Vladdy's the favourite. Mookie Betts, the 3rd seed, is plus 850. 4th seed, Adolis Garcia, is 7-1. 5th seed, Vlad Guerrero, is plus 360. The 7th seed is Julio Rodriguez, who is priced up at 6-1. And the 8th seed is Adley Rutschman, who is the outsider of the field at 14-1. It's a classic bracket, so 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7, etc. Quarterfinal, semi-final, final. So yeah, we can take you through our brackets and derive at how we got our winner. So we'll start at the top, Dylan. Luis Robert, that top side of the draw, Luis Robert takes on Adley Rutschman, and then Adolis Garcia takes on Randy Arozarena. So who would you have going through from those 2 matchups?
Yeah, in the first matchup, I do like Luis Roberts. He might be a play later for my outright. I got him at, what did I get him at? Plus 450. So I got him advancing against not the most experienced guy in Aldi, even though I do like Aldi. I just think Luis Robert is just a much better hitter right now. And since June 1st, he has the 2nd most home runs behind Shohei Ohtani, which I'd love to see him in a home run derby. But yeah, I got Luis Roberts advancing over Aldi. I think the nerves of the young kid's going to get to him a little bit. So I'm going to take Luis Roberts here.
Yeah, I think Roberts, he's got a lot of things going for him in this competition. It's quite a sort of arduous competition, really. You need a little bit of endurance. We've seen it since they put the clock on it. It's athletes kind of that have prospered a little bit. We saw Juan Soto last year, who was the champ. Really athletic guys rather than your big boppers. We'll get on to the likes of, for example, Vladdy, that we'll get to in a little while. I think he kind of gets gassed in this. Luis Robert won't at all. I think Adley Rutschman, he's local. He's from Portland, so he's got that angle. But he's he's not a classic home run hitter. He's got some pop. and he's having a great season. But yeah, I don't think he can compete here. So I've got Robert going through. The one underneath that, Adolis, Garcia, and Randy Rosarena, is really, really tight. This is your classic complete guesswork. Anyone can sit and tell you there's some science going to why they're going to pick, who they're going to pick. And I'm calling bullshit on all of that. What would split it for me is Randy Rosarena's propensity for the big occasion. We saw it in the playoffs when he hit a gazillion home runs a couple of years ago. And we saw it in the WBC when every time he was called upon to do something spectacular, he absolutely had it in his locker. Randy Rosarena has been probably the most popular underdog pick that I've seen in all the research I've done over the last couple of days. 10-1 outright. And I think it's for the reason is that he's a showman and this is a show. So yeah, I would have Randy taking down Garcia in that one, Dylan.
I actually take the other side. I'll take Garcia. I think he's been a better hitter this year. He has 23 home runs. He's tied for 6th on the list of just all time this year. His slugging's been better. His OPS, like he's just been a better hitter. But you're right. Randy Rosa has the experience, and he also has the bat speed as well. I don't think he'll get tired. He's big in big moments. He had a big game today, so I could see it. It's definitely the closest one out of all of the matchups here in the bracket. But you're right. It's a coin flip. But I do like Adolis Garcia, and I see it at -144. So it's definitely value there, I think.
On the other side of the door, you've got Pete Alonso and Julio Rodriguez. Now, one of these two could have been my outright pick if they weren't playing each other, I think. They would be two of the names I would have been drawn to. But I don't think I could play either of them outright because of who they're playing. So this must be a coin flip on the books. I haven't seen any matchups prices. So I don't know what the odds are on that. But Pete Alonso's got a lot of previous. He's a 2-time winner. Now, only one person, only Ken Griffey Jr. has managed to win this 3 times. So he kind of has the weight of history against him. But this is a kind of a horses for courses situation for Pete Alonso, in that you need a special kind of skill set for this competition. He's trained for it. He trained specifically for it. He likes his the guy who does the throwing for him, and he's tactically he's been all right. He's used his timeouts quite effectively in the past. There was one case against Ronald Acuna in 2019 where I think he's used his timeout. So as much as it is just get up there and hit it, there's a little bit of baseball intelligence to be had in this competition. Pete Alonso has shown that he's been able to do that. Julio Rodriguez came second last year as a rookie. Hit 31 home runs in the semi-final against Pete Alonso. So he actually took Alonso down last year. Just a complete guesswork again. I've got Rodriguez to advance over the polar bear here.
Yeah, so I'll let you know what these round 1 matchup prices are. So Luis Roberts is -250. Aldi is +198. The one we just talked about, Randy Arozarena, he's +118. Adolis Garcia is -144. The one we're talking about right now, Pete Alonso is -178. Julio Rodriguez is +142. I didn't know this before, but I was just playing around while you were talking. You could parlay these. So, like, for example, if you want to take Pete Alonso and you do want to take Luis Roberts, -250 and -178, you could get a +118 on that. That's if you, because I don't think you're really going to get value just picking outrights, unless you're taking the Adolis Garcia one. But other than that, everyone's and then if you look at the other one, Mookie Betts is a +205 underdog. Vlad's -270. So a lot of these favorites are heavy favorites that you really can't find value on. But as for this one, yeah, this whole side of the bracket is just filled. It's going to be the hardest pathway to victory. Pete Alonso, Julio Rodriguez, Mookie Betts, and Vlad Guerrero. It's an insane amount. But you're right. He does take good timeouts. He's experienced. And, Seattle's not a place where I think you really see a lot of home runs. I only think there's 98 home runs on the year in the ballpark, the fewest in the league. So it's a hitter's ballpark. I don't know if we'll see a vintage polar bear will have like 25, 30, but I definitely think the experience will edge him out in this one. I don't know if he'll get through all the way, but I do think he'll get past Julio Rodriguez in the first round.
Yeah, in the final game, I've got Vladdy taking down Betts. I just think he's a better hitter. Certainly, early in the contest, I do think Vladdy might get a little bit gassed. I might be wrong. But I think fresh, he will take down Betts. I mean, I wouldn't put you off if you wanted to take the 4 outsiders here. I know we talked about this last year. The biggest price outsider last year, I think, was Albert Pujols, who was just in there for the memes, really. And he won his first round matchup. I can't remember who he beat. Did he beat Goldie or... Oh, I can't remember. I thought it was one of the cards, maybe Goldie or Arenado, one or the other. And Pujols took them down at a big price, plus 200 and something. So outsiders will win because, like I say, it is a little bit random. But yeah, I've got Vladdy to take down Mookie, but I won't be backing him on this side of the draw, Dylan.
Yeah, I agree. I like Vlad Jr. to go all the way, to be honest. I think he beats out Pete in the second round as well. I'll get to that in a little. But yeah, I'm surprised to see him this big of a favorite just because Vlad's not really having a typical Vlad home run type of year. He only has 13 on the year. While Mookie Betts, low-key, he's up there. He has 26 home runs on the year. He's tied for third in the major league. So he's hitting a lot of home runs this season, Mookie Betts. But in this kind of like tournament style where Vlad, I think, has an upper hand in the experience, I'll go with Vlad here as well. I like him.
Yeah, I'm not sure how serious Mookie's taking it. I think he's going for a good time. He said his wife talked him into doing it. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he'll be enjoying himself. He'll try when he's out there, but I don't think he'll be too devastated if he goes down. Yeah, so my semi-final lineup, I've got Luis Robert taking down Randy Arozarena. And on the other side, I think Rodriguez will take out a gassed Vladdy, leaving me a final of Luis Robert and Julio Rodriguez, who are your 2 semi-final winners, Dylan.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I have Luis Roberts Jr. defeating Adolis Garcia. And then on the other side, I have Vlad Guerrero Jr. defeating Pete Alonso. And can I be honest, as a Met fan, I really wasn't happy that he announced that he was going to be in the home run derby. I know he takes it serious and he loves doing it. He's a 2-time champion, but he really hasn't been swinging the bat well like this past month and a half. I think he's hitting 188, 189, something along those lines. I know he had a home run the other night, but I really wish he just took the week off and just mentally got himself a break, to be honest. So I'm not the most enthused that Pete Alonso's in this because it could even mess up his swing even more, I feel like. And we need him in the second half.
Well, yeah, I said to you before we started, Dylan, culturally, none of this stuff would get on any British sports person's radios, where you American people are obsessed with All-Star this and Hall of Fame the other and dunk contests and these. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, it's this exhibition stuff is completely and utterly irrelevant. It wouldn't happen because no one cares. Around the time where they're balloting in the Hall of Famers, it's all you see on your Twitter timeline, or you'll open up your podcast platform. And there's 25 podcasts about who should be in the Hall of Fame and who shouldn't be, and like no one cares. It's not a thing. Like, the sport is the sport.
My thing in England, though, is after they have an amazing career, kind of like, for example, a guy like Wayne Rooney, where does he go? Does he not go into the Hall of Fame?
What do you mean, does he go in the Hall of Fame? He goes home. Well, I don't understand.
But how do we recognize one of the greatest careers?
Well, because it happened. Put him in the Hall of Fame doesn't change anything, does it?
Yeah, you give him a little jacket, you pat him on the back, say you did a really good job for 20 years.
What does that mean? That's you crazy Americans with your trinkets and your shiny things. Who wants it? Oh, it's baffling.
We love it.
You do, yeah, absolutely.
And
baffles
I also
the
think gambling has enhanced it a little bit, don't you? Because now you could bet on the dunk contest, you could bet on the home run derby. Back when I was little, I don't really think, unless going to a bodega in the back of the store, you could do it that way illegally, but you can't do it like you do it today. Like, they're advertising it. It's $1 million organization, you know?
Yeah. Oh, this is a great outcome, a great event to have a bet on. 100%. Like, yeah, I'll definitely be getting involved. But that's pretty much the only reason for it, really, is to have a little bet. Okay, so yeah, finalists So this is my first pick. My first play is going to be there's loads of markets, but you can pick the finalists. So Luis Robert against Julio Rodriguez as the two finalists is 12-1. That's my first pick, and my outright winner is going to be Luis Robert at 5-1. I just think he's, like I say, he's athletic enough. He's got nothing else to play for. The White Sox is such a stink in the place out. This is probably a light relief for him. We'd be quite happy to get out there. And he's quietly, because the White Sox never ever get talked about unless it's in a disparaging manner. No one's mentioned the fact that Robert's having a great season. So, Robert to win at 5-1 for me, and a Robert versus Rodriguez final at 12-1, Dylan.
Yeah, my first one is Luis Robert as well. I got him at plus 450. You know, like I said, as a Met fan, I feel like I should be just taking Alonso on principle to win this because of his experience. Like you said, is pure joy just to compete in this. And the fact that he has 174 career home runs at this event, it obviously tops every other competitor here. You know, the problem I feel like with Pete is the pathway to victory here, according to the number 1 seed. Alonso has to face Julio Rodriguez in the first round and then either Betts and Vlad. So I just think Luis Robert, he beats Aldi. And, you know, he really hasn't been known for that power type guy, like I said. While Luis Robert, his average home run is around 406 feet. So he's not just hitting cheapies, you know, he's out there hitting bombs. And like I said, since June 1st, Shohei has 16 home runs. Luis Robert is second with 12 home runs since June 1st. So I feel like I'm getting the top overall seed at a longer odds than the other two hitters, both who are on the other side of the bracket. I just feel like it's a lot of value. So yeah, give me Luis Roberts Jr. as well at plus 450.
And who would be your other finalist then?
And then my other one, just to basically cover both my sides, I'll take Vlad to win it all as well, just because I feel like he does have a tough matchup in the first round against Mookie. And like I said, Vlad, he hasn't had the best season in terms of hitting home runs, but he's still making incredible contact rate. I know you don't really look too much in the barrel rate, but it's extremely high when he is hitting the ball. Only 3 players have higher exit velocity than Vlad. He's hitting at around 94 miles an hour. Around the other competition, only Acuna Jr. has batted balls that have exceeded 95 miles an hour. So I expect him to be aggressive, especially in the first round against Mookie. It's much different than all these other guys. He has experience. He holds the single home run record. He mashed 91 in 2019, and he only lost because he needed 40 to defeat Jock Peterson, I think, in the semifinals. And then he only had 22 in the finals against Alonso. But, you know, the name of the game is to hit the long ball, and I think Vlad is one of the best to do it. So I got Vlad at plus 370, and that's my other selection to win it all.
So that matchup in the final, Luis Robert against Vlad, would be plus 650. So price of 13-2. If you can, if you want to take Dylan's advice and have them as your 2 finalists, we'll have a little run through some of the other dafter markets and some of the prop markets. Once I've told you about Underdog Fantasy and Best Ball Mania, 4 Underdog Fantasies giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. There's loads of ways to win on Underdog. Underdog is available in so many states. Head to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com, promo code SGPN. So yeah, some of the other markets. Yeah, there's a list here as long as you're on. The list's twice as long as when I looked at it earlier on. So you've got, player to hit the longest home run. I mean, you just went through those numbers. You said, was it Pete Alonso you said wasn't hitting the chippies?
No, I said Vlad.
Oh, Vlad, okay. Yeah, so he's favourite. He's 5-2 to hit the longest home run all the way out to, Mookie Betts. So there is a little bit more science in this one. Mookie Betts is out there at 30-1. And obviously, the deeper your player goes into the competition, the more chance you have of them hitting the longest one. You've got the player with the highest recorded exit velocity, player to hit the most home runs in the first round. Total home runs in the tournament. is a good one. But the market that I picked one prop here from is the total home runs in the tournament by the winning player. And the reason, there's a couple of reasons for this. Reason one is this bet will keep you going right till the end. Whatever happens, your bet is going to be live all the way through the tournament. So if Robert and Rodriguez and Vlad have all been knocked out, we've still got a live bet going because whoever's in the final, you're still cheering them to take the over. The total is at 58.5. And I just thought that all it takes here is the player to go off in one round. Like you said, we've had Rodriguez hit 31 to take Alonso out last time. And did you say Pete Alonso hit a 40-something in the last time he won it?
Yeah, 40-something, I think. 41, 42.
So if a player goes off in one round, then they pretty much shoes them in because that total then is 58.5. So if you get that 31, then you're just looking at another 28 over the next two rounds. So I just sort of like one good round, one stellar round. If they can get the 30 seconds extra time twice, I think what you need to hit 2 440 feet home runs and you get the extra time bonus. So if a player can just go berserk in one round, then that I think gives you a chance of getting to that 58.5. Even if you don't, 3 solid rounds. And like I say, you're going to be live in the final. So it gives you something to count down right as you get into the final minutes of the last game there. So yeah, that would be my one player prop is the winning player to have over 58.5 total home runs. Any of these markets that you looked at all, Dylan?
Yeah, I like that one. I would also encourage, because Mal's definitely looking at a different book than I am. So check all your books. They probably have different.
Yeah, there's all sorts
options.
of things.
It's like the one I have, which I kind of like, the longest distance of a home run. It's at 488.5 feet. Now, that's another one where, just like Mal said, where it keeps you in it no matter what. Even if your player didn't get through to the round or doesn't have a chance to win, it doesn't matter. Someone could break this. Someone could hit almost a 490-foot home run. That's pretty far. I don't know. I haven't checked Seattle's ballpark metrics where a guy's hit it that far, but 490 feet. I can't recall one this year that's gone 490 feet, to be honest. But I would go under. The odds are basically coin flip. It's minus 112 both ways on the book that I'm looking at. So I kind of would do under. It's kind of the contrarian play. I know it's no fun. You obviously want to see the ball go far, but 490 feet is kind of long, I feel like. Yeah,
that is. It's 485.5 on my book. The other one I looked at, and again, a bit of you just said like a little bit like just too short to back the under, is will there be a tiebreaker in any matchup, which is even money on yes, and round about 8 to 11, so about minus 130 maybe on the no. And I would just take the no. It said there's not been a load of tiebreakers. It's fun when it happens, and they have a 60-second swing off. But yeah, if you wanted a boring play, I'd take the 8 to 11 about the no.
That would be funny if you had a bet. If you had a bet on how many home runs, because the bat off would actually help, because there would be more. Because they would have to go. So yeah, there are fun ways to play the home run derby, but always responsible, not without your means, I would say, because you don't want to lose your whole bankroll on the home run derby. Got a long second half, Mal.
Yeah, pizza bets, Munaf would say. Definitely pizza bets. So yeah, so I think that's it covered really. The picks that me and Dylan would like. Like we say, I didn't really want to get too much into pretending there was a science or a strong feeling behind it, because there just isn't. 8 runners. If I wake up on Tuesday morning and any one of these is won, I will not be surprised. Whichever over or under is hit, I will not be surprised. I just hope it's a fun competition. I look forward to watching the highlights. The fact it's West Coast is no good for me at all. So I think it kicks off around about 3 in the morning. So I'll try and watch it as a virgin. I won't get the scores. I'll try and watch it as live on Tuesday morning. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for that. Anyway, appreciate anyone who's joined in and listened. Good luck with your bets. Like I said, we'll be back later in the week. We're going to do some futures. We're going to look back at the things we've already picked and maybe pick out some second half stuff. We did really well last year picking out second half plays. during the All-Star break, because there's loads of good markets to get involved in. And we picked out some pretty shrewd stuff last year. So we're going to be looking into that with Munaf, Scott, Lonte, and of course Dylan later in the week. So just keep your eyes peeled for your next installment of the MLB Gambling Podcast. Dylan, what's happening the rest of your Sunday?
Oh, nothing. Hopefully the Mets could come back and win this game and go into All-Star break with, winning 3 series in a row. But real quick, Mal, I don't think we'll have a pod for the All-Star game. Do you have a pick for everyone right now?
No idea.
Is favorite.
Yeah, well, that game, Moon asked me if he wanted to do a show. And I said the same thing as I've just talked about with you I was like, this exhibition, I don't know what's going on. Why is this a thing? Because I know King Tuck was just talking in the chat before, saying that people really enjoy the home run derby. It's a chance to get the fans to get involved. And I absolutely understand it. But culturally, it just sort of blows my mind a little bit. No. So Moonaf asked me if I wanted to get involved in any All-Star game picks, and I just flatly turned him down. So the short answer to your question, Dylan, is no. Yeah. You tell me who's going to win.
I low key, just because Mike Trout's not playing in the All-Star game. I thought an American League would be kind of bigger favorites, but I think I might take the plus money with the National League, to be honest, at plus 104. So not the strongest, but yeah, a little pizza bet for a plus money. I always like to go with the underdog. You know me.
Good times. So Mets are in the bottom of the 5th, so I can go and finish my cup of tea and watch the last hour of this New York Mets San Diego Padres game. I'll do that. Enjoy the home run derby, everybody. Good luck with your bets. Whatever you do, let us know how you get on in the usual places. We'll be back, I think Tuesday is the next scheduled episode. So I look forward to seeing everyone again then. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.